Welcome back to Financial News You Can Use. My name's Neal Whittington, and again, we're here in the studio today with special guest, Miss Jessica Perrone from Just Perfect Home Staging. Welcome back, guys. Jessica, we're going to jump right back into these questions for the folks out there. Pretty important thing here, smell. How important is the sense of smell in your plan, and how do you use it or not use it?
Smell is important. I think the more important thing there is not using it.
Okay.
Odors can be very overwhelming, and you have people with allergies and so forth, and some people are very sensitive to smell.
Sure.
So it's important to try to neutralize all the odors in your home. If you smoke, that's one of the biggest things. I mean, you can have someone walk in and walk right back out of your house with that smoke smell. And then also pets, make sure that you can't tell that you have pets when you walk into your house. You don't smell the litter box, or just a lot of times you can smell pets. So you want to try to eliminate those things. Also cooking, if you cook a lot and you cook, cuisine, Asian or Mexican or any kind of cuisine that has strong odors, garlic, try to get those out too, because again, those are strong and people can be very sensitive to it. If you're having an open house, you always hear about, baking a pie or, baking cookies, and that's great. I mean, put them in the oven and put them out for people to eat at the open house. That's good. It makes them feel welcome, kind of at home. Careful with air fresheners. You can go overboard on it easily, and that's not a good thing. If you're going to use air fresheners, be careful to use things that are a very light kind of neutral smell, like a linen or something like that. Don't go too florally, and don't put too many in the house. Just put a couple and spread them out. But odor is important. The biggest thing, though, is you don't want to turn anyone off with odor, and that's probably the biggest thing you run into.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how about if there's some homeowners out there looking to maybe try some weekend warriors or whatever, trying to do it themselves, what are some do's and don'ts that you could offer to them?
Do clean out all of your closets and your cabinets. You want to make sure that it looks like there's plenty of space. So we always suggest anything that you don't need regularly, go ahead and pack up. And if there's things that you might need, but you don't need it on a regular basis, label that in a box and put it toward the front of your storage unit. And that way you can have relatively easy access to it if you need it. Have the house cleaned. That's one of the biggest things you can do, is just clean really well and clean all the carpets. Fresh coats of paint are great. Neutralize it, but don't paint it white. And then making sure your curb appeal looks great also. Pressure washing, keeping the grass mowed, adding some colorful flowers. Those are all easy, very beneficial things that you can do. Make sure the don'ts are the don't paint white is important, because people neutralize, and that's not the best way to do it. And don't store everything in your garage again. Don't take everything down and not put anything back up. That's why we provide accessories, because you still want people to feel warm and welcome. And it can feel kind of cold if you take absolutely everything down. So and do call someone for help.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just helping you get your stuff packed up. Friends and neighbors are great.
Absolutely. Have a packing party. So do you use a contractor on different projects, or contractors?
Yeah, we have a bunch of different companies that we work with to carry out basically everything that we recommend. So when you work with us, you can have everything taken care of if you want. You don't have to lift a finger. So we work with a variety of contractors to fulfill all the needs.
Gotcha. So how important is rapport with clients or potential clients that you're looking to?
It's really important, because this is your house is one of your biggest assets. And it's a very important decision. It's an important time. It's a stressful time. So building that rapport is very important. It's also important that they trust us, because we're making recommendations that they do things that they're not going to be comfortable doing. So they have to know that we have their best interest at heart.
Right.
And we're trying to help them reach their goals. And
Sure.
so that it all plays a big role in it.
That's a really good segue actually to my next question of why is it a good idea to hire a professional and not do it yourself?
The biggest thing is that, I mean, if you do it yourself, I mean, there's things you can do yourself, but it's really hard to be objective about your own home. So that's one important reason. And also, you know, even if you have great tastes and, you know, your home looks beautiful, it's not the same. It's still your home. And if you hire a professional, they're in the industry every day. They're working with sellers. They're in touch with buyers and buyers agents. They know what people are looking for.
Sure.
And they know how to merchandise your home.
Right.
They're looking at it as a product, not a home. So, you know, it's important to hire a professional.
Right. And hire a professional and then let that professional do their job.
Yes.
And listen to them.
Listen to them, trust them. They're not telling you these things just to give you work to do and make your life uncomfortable. I always tell our clients, you know, if you can go all the way and do everything or as much as we recommend to you as you can, you're going to have to be uncomfortable for a much shorter period of time than if you just do it halfway.
Right.
And you don't have the same results.
Right.
It'll take longer.
Very cool. Well, we're going to look here at some, I think, before and after pictures of some properties that you have staged, and it gets me pretty excited here to look at some of the days on market and how fast they sell and how much more money that the sellers actually get from them. So
definitely,
I think Travis is going to throw those up for us, and you guys are going to sort of talk through those.
Okay. All right. This first house was over in the Cape in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it had been on the market for about 1.5 years before they called us in. And after we staged it, it sold in just 81 days. An important thing to look at here also is that this client's home is one of 6 homes that sold in that neighborhood.
Okay.
And there were 70 other homes within a year's time period in the same price range that's never sold.
Yeah. Makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. There's so much out there on the market right now. You have to make sure that your home is in the best of the best, because there's a limited number of buyers and there is plenty of inventory for them to choose from, and not every house is going to sell.
Right. You got to stand out.
The other thing here is this house received 85% of the asking price, which doesn't sound like a lot. Most of ours are over 92, but you'll see in the next slide that it's still more than the average in that neighborhood. Also, did you switch already? Okay, could you go back 1 second? I'm sorry. You'll also see in the photographs, this house was dated. It was a ranch home, and the yard looked like a job. And you'll notice all of the wood paneling and the wood trim. And so we did a lot of updates to this house. We painted the trim, and that alone, we were talking about the importance of painting.
Sure.
Look, the difference that makes with just painting that white completely opens up the space, makes it bigger, makes it brighter. We replaced light fixtures and basically just kind of tried to do cost-effective updates to the house and worked on curb appeal, painted the shutters so the house stood out. And all of these things, as well as furnishing it, you know, play a big role in drawing people in, first of all. You're going to want to go see the second picture a lot more than the first. So
absolutely.
That helps get it to selling a lot faster than everybody else.
Which is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to move on to the next one, I think. Number 3. Okay.
Just a quick thought about the last house is with it selling in 81 days, all the others took 305. Just a little side note with that. With this house, this was in Carolina Beach. It's another one that had a ton of homes in the area that didn't sell at all. This house was one of 48 that did sell, and there were 160 others that did not. This house was vacant, and we staged it, so all of the furnishings are ours. We gave it that beach home feel. It was one of those, like Wayne had talked about earlier, that had a floor plan that kind of people questioned because you walked right into the living room and dining area. So staging it really helped kind of define those spaces. This house sold in just 36 days for 98% of the asking price. And on the next slide, you'll see what a difference that made. With this house selling 98% of the asking price, all the other homes that sold, those other 48 homes, only got 80% of the asking price. So huge difference. And while this took 36 days, the others that sold took an average of 570 days.
That's a lot of days.
It's a lot of days. And this is one of those where the cost of staging was nothing because they saved over $100,000 with this property.
That's amazing.
Roughly, with extended mortgages and days on market being saved and that kind of thing. With the next property, this was an occupied home, and it was, you can obviously tell from this first picture it was dated. The furniture was just old. They had decluttered. It was one of the options where they did it themselves and tried to declutter and painted the walls almost white. And it just, there was no warmth to it when he came in.
Right.
And they, you know, after talking to them, they were going to be buying new furniture anyway.
Right.
So we just went ahead and had them go ahead and buy it before they moved, and it ended up helping them sell their house a lot faster. It had been on the market for, I think, 4 or 5 months before we staged it, and then it sold in 38 days for 98% of the asking price.
Awesome. Does that happen a lot? People will try to do it themselves and then figure out once they get into it, maybe I'm not the professional, and then call you guys in?
They do, because I mean, everyone or a lot of people try to get their home ready for sale. Their goal is to sell it as fast as possible, and so they do what they know.
Right.
You know, and there's TV shows that can give you ideas, but it's still, I mean, that's why I said it's important to have a professional, because even if you can do a lot of great things, they've gotten a great start.
Sure.
But it's just not the same.
Gotcha.
As they don't know everything to look for.
Right.
But this house, compared to others, it sold for about the same asking price as everyone else, but the big difference is while it took 38 days, the rest of the homes took 108 days.
That's huge.
So, and this last property that I'll show you was on the market for 307 days without an offer. And it was a builder that we were working with, and they were having some trouble with the floor plan. We don't usually worry about TVs. It's usually an obvious place, but with this floor plan, no one knew where to put a TV. So,
right.
And it was a large room walking in. So when we staged it and, you know, showed the function of each space, and, you know, it showed a lot better in photographs, and it sold in just 11 days after staging.
That's
so
awesome.
it works, and it is definitely worth the investment.
Sure.
You know, Wayne had mentioned earlier that, on average, you know, I think it's probably national average that they sell 37% faster and 3 to 10% higher offers, I believe, is close to what he said. And that's so true. We have found last year, on average, our homes sold 76% faster than their competition, and for 6% higher offers on average. So it's not just a national thing. It's local, and it works. And if you're not doing it and you really want to sell your house, you should be.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Jessica, we really appreciate you coming in and sharing all this knowledge, because I know with so many houses on the market, there's a lot of people stressed out there, you know, trying to get their house to sell so fast, and I think this is for sure a no-brainer for them. Tell everybody how to contact you if they have questions, maybe an email or a website, and I think they'll probably put it up on the screen, or they've probably already had it on the screen because they're good. And then just any closing comments that you have.